back. We are back. Ow, I almost fell off a chair. Oh, okay. All right. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Anyways, we are back. We are back. All right, and we are back. And the first video back is gonna be reacting to the man, the myth, the legend, the absolute war criminal of a man who I am too scared to sub to, Seth the Tack. I know I probably said it wrong, but I don't think I will ever say it right. Alright, it's just my man Seth. I am scared of him. He scares me. I don't want to be associated with him. And he's got a new review for us. Earth Defense Force 6 review. Last time on this, we killed God. What are we gonna do now? That is the real question. I can tell you that. I am very excited to get to this reaction myself. Because, you know, you never know what to expect. You know, I am very excited. I definitely want to check out more of this man. But besides that, let's get right into it. You know, let's not talk. Let's not dilly-dally too much. You know, let's talk. Let's get into it. I'm scared. I am afraid.
Seth here. I did my part. We all did our part. But it wasn't enough. It's been 3 years since we killed God, and we're still no closer to reclaiming our world.
Oh, they're still
attacking. The aliens
attacking.
may be gone, but the monsters they've left behind have made life all but impossible. The world is ruled by monsters. At this point, maybe we are the invaders, and they are the EDF now.
Nah.
Wait, what? What?
What is that now?
What?
What do you mean there's more?
The Earth Defense Force 6 begins now. This game has finally been released outside of the theocratic dictatorship known as Japan, where the personal computer is a heretical relic, and releasing a good PC port is considered apostasy. Luckily, the developers aren't getting excommunicated, as this game, which is about 80% EDF5 by volume, somehow has a worse PC port. And despite not being an Epic exclusive, this game uses Epic online services for its multiplayer. Ah yes, let me just sign in with my LEGO account. You can't turn this off.
The LEGO
Every
account
time
would
you
be
get
perfect.
an achievement, it locks your controls and you die. We are so back to the past, because that's where we're going. Now, you'd think the phrase EDF plus time travel would be a good tone indicator for this
What do you
experience.
mean time
but
travel?
You'd be wrong. Watching this game unfold is like giving a 20 to your local tweaker. After the
Why
gas
do we
station
have
dick pills
Asmon
and 2
go
hits of
there?
bang energy kick in, it's impossible
That's
to
crazy.
predict his next
Asmon,
move.
they're
And
doing
yet,
him
it's strangely
crazy.
captivating to watch him wrestle an officer while urinating with a full erection. Speaking of which, our sponsor. I need money for fentanyl. Hey gang, do you want to know why
You know
we're
what?
dealing with this invasion?
I respect
Because
it.
someone, you specifically, forgot to install ExpressVPN. That's right, Earth Defense Force is a metaphor for what happens when you browse the net without a VPN. Like ants to a picnic, your unsecured connection attracts all manner of unsavory characters, from your ISP to scummy data brokers and government glowies. Who knows what they want or what they'll do when they get it? If you're lucky, they'll just sell off your data to the highest bidder and turn your life into a living hell
Don't
of
do that.
targeted advertising. If you're unlucky, they'll establish a detailed record of every illicit detail of your personal life and use it against you to ruin your life. That's right, you'll be forced to resort to making TikTok slop content just to get by. Thankfully, ExpressVPN stops all this and more by routing all of your internet traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel, allowing you to browse the internet anonymously, securely, and privately. Use it to stay safe anywhere, even on unsecured public Wi-Fi. Now that's what I call a picnic. Personally, I use ExpressVPN to protect myself from my own landlord. At the moment, I have him fooled. He thinks I can barely make rent, but as the owner of my Wi-Fi network, he can see everything I do. If he sees what I purchase online, he'll jack up my rent. But with ExpressVPN, Wi-Fi owners can't see what you're up to on their network, making total privacy just one click away. Now, I can go about my normal business and occasionally turn it off to Google things like what to do if very poor, how to make money for rent, and is it healthy to eat cement? Just to throw him off a trail. ExpressVPN is consistently rated the #1 VPN by CNET, The Verge, and tons of other tech reviewers. And unlike me, they actually have a reputation. Find out how you can get 3 months of ExpressVPN for free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking the link in the description box below, or by going to expressvpn.com
What is that
/Seth. Earth Defense Force 6 innovates on the EDF format of reusing 90% of the last game by having you time travel back to literal copy-pasted EDF5 missions.
Those bastards!
The entire intro is a highlight reel of brain rot from the previous title.
In these 5 months, humanity has lost 30% of its population.
30%. That's still not too bad.
And since my mind has blocked out all EDF-related memories as a trauma response, it still hits just as hard. From a premise, you'd think we'd bring back some kind of super weapon or strategy. But remember, this is a universe where everyone eats glue, including the aliens. What we've brought back is far more valuable. Advice. Advice, such as shoot the glowing weak point. In the original timeline, this took the EDF months to figure out. Your guidance helps a little, but the aliens are sending new enemies back in time as well. We're playing a game of quantum chess, but every player is retarded. So, what's new? Not much. Welcome to EDF.
So you guys are playing
get
checkers.
One new mechanic and quality of life features which should have been there from the start, like these new damage numbers. So now I can see I'm doing exactly 1 damage. The Ranger can now turn while sprinting. This took years of programming. Everyone gets a new backpack weapon slot, so now you can actually use all the stupid shit that would otherwise cost you an entire slot. Backpack weapons also reload passively, so now you don't have to hold it out for a real-life minute to reload your turrets. This entire series is built on breaking you down, to the point where I'm giving praise each time something gets marginally better. Wing Diver gets an infinite durability, spammable shield that blocks everything.
What is that,
its
Star?
intended purpose is to survive attacks and get some breathing room. Its actual purpose is to grief your teammates. Playing Air Raider causes a unique form of brain damage, where all of your dopamine pathways remap to prioritize
Stop
big bomb
playing with
at the
the-
cost
with the
of
death missile.
self-preservation. EDF-5 tried to fix this by adding more limpet guns and a third weapon slot. EDF-6 has given up completely. Now you have an entirely new category of drone strikes which can work underground or in a timeline where all of your artillery crews are dead. An offenser gets literally nothing. He's exactly the same. Just like 5, he goes from broke to broken, from garbage can to Gundam that can solo the entire game. EDF's enemy designs take from the late Confucian philosophy of CBT maximalism, which falls into one of the following categories: instant death shotgun, instantaneous corporeal relocation, I can't see what the fuck is going on, I'm having an epileptic seizure, and the rarest category of all,
what is
actually good. If they have a gimmick, EDF will make damn sure you know about it.
These aliens are armored! They're fully protected, clad in armor, head to toe. They're covered in armor. Where do we even aim?
These enemies have new gear. There are just a few heavily armored aliens.
For example, the flying drones have a unique mechanic, the rules of which are described to you in excruciating detail. And what is it? When you shoot an enemy, they get mad. One of the simplest game mechanics that anyone, no matter how much their mother drank during pregnancy, can figure out on their own. In any other game, you would not need to drill this into the player, but this is EDF. I've spent the last 15 hours inhaling nitrous and holding left click. I'm grateful for this reminder, because with zero explanation, a new red drone shows up, and if you aggro more than one at a time, you're already dead.
Oh.
That's supposed to be a decoy. In EDF-5, they were useless because they had no health. In EDF-6, they're useless because the aliens won't fucking shoot at them. EDF's network of radio gaslighters will keep you stocked up on genuinely dogshit advice. At one point, android suicide bombers show up, and you're told to run away, hold your ground, shoot the bombs, don't shoot the bombs, and link up with Charlie. Charlie is the key to all this. A terrifying new enemy. However, are we going to hold shift? Their weakness is the shift key. Surprisingly, most of the new designs aren't terrible. Androids shoot their hands, which is a physical projectile that can be shot out of the air. The new drones have weak spots and dodgeable attacks. The cruel are actually interesting. They can block attacks with their energy shield until it overheats. In the game's own words, the black ones don't work. It's genuinely fun combining different gear and strategies to get past their shields. And then you play a mission with a rolling pillbugs, and all that praise goes out the window. I need to make one thing very clear.
You're getting ran over.
Is no longer optional. I complained about the drop system in 5, but now it's worse than I could have possibly imagined. Let me give you a quick rundown. Enemies drop armor and weapon crates. Armor crates permanently increase max HP by 1. Weapon crates are gacha tokens that give 1 spin of the end of mission reward wheel. These weapons come from a genuinely schizophrenic loot table based on mission number and difficulty, with a bias towards whatever class you're playing. Getting duplicates levels up the star statistic. This is not a small bonus. It brings the weapon from borderline useless to borderline griefing. If you're operating under the reasonable assumption that difficulty options are purely a matter of taste, EDF will punish you. If you play the entire game on normal, you'll encounter only 25% of all items. If you want a smooth
Wow,
progression
that's
through all of the
crazy.
weapons, playing missions at the developer-intended armor and weapon levels, you'll have to play the entire game. And I'm
If you Naruto and we can move faster than their bombs. What kind of 2020 humor is that? Oh my god, you're bringing me back. I forgot about that stuff. Oh my god, I forgot about that stuff. You know what? You right, chat. You right, chat.
not making this up, 16 times every single mission, on every single class, on normal, hard, hardest, and inferno difficulties. Or you can use Cheat Engine to multiply the drops by several thousand and play on hard so you only miss half a drop table. And if you're worried about cheating diluting your experience, it won't. Every mission has a hard limit on max health and weapon level. This isn't just a polite suggestion. I'm asking you to cut out 60 hours of grind, so you can find out it makes no difference because you get one shot anyway. I mentioned this game was insane, but it doesn't truly become clear until you shoot at the time machine again. You know you're in for a treat when you see the
Does it send you
words,
back?
"The Earth Defense Force 7 begins now." This is where you realize we're not using time travel to stop ourselves from eating glue. This is a race through time to see who can eat the most glue, us or the aliens. And right now, they're winning because they can send new enemies back in time, but we can only bring our memories back to our bodies in the past. The scientist who travels back with you tries to make use of this, but each time he does, the EDF sends him to the psychiatric ward. He's looped so many times, he's memorized the game's dialogue. I mean, I don't actually know how many times he's looped. He just said he lost count, but the EDF's greatest weakness is numbers, so that's not saying much. When he gets locked up, the title of smartest man in the EDF goes to Steve, the only man who can count all the way up to 10.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
that's-
it's number 9. The 9th one out of 10.
Truly our brightest mind.
Absolutely.
I'd kill for a meal. I'd even eat a monster at this point.
People smarter than us have already tried.
I believe them, because this is a post-No Child Left Behind universe. EDF has a very particular way of introducing new enemies. First, you'll do a normal mission
That's
with
a
normal
huge
dialogue.
monolith. I'm not gonna lie.
Then, near the end, the NPCs will randomly bring up something you've never heard before, like,
I would have never believed that demons would rule over the surface 3 years ago.
you're left wondering, is that a metaphor? Then you go to the next mission and,
Nope.
oh shit, they weren't kidding. That Cruel is getting prime toppy. This situation is so hopeless that many in the EDF are seeking God. Not in a religious sense, they are physically looking for God.
I mean,
the
of course.
possibility of his existence gives the EDF hope. Not
Didn't we kill
hope
him?
that he'll save us, but hope that we can beat him to death ourselves. However, that's not going to work this time, so we really need to figure out how to use this whole time travel thing to our advantage. The Earth Defense Force 8 begins now. This time, the scientist managed to avoid the insane asylum and uses his time traveler knowledge to invent newer and better weapons for the EDF. And then he gives us the plot twist. The aliens aren't from another planet. They're from Earth, but millions of years into the future. They're not teleporting in monsters that look like giant ants. They're sending the result of millions of years of ant evolution back in time. These aliens evolved from an Earth where mankind is extinct and the world is ruled by monsters. When they asked, are we alone in
okay.
this universe? They discovered the ruins of human civilization and went back in time to check us out. When they descended in their egg-shaped ships, early humans mythologized them as gods. However, one of them said, imagine drunk driving one of these, and did exactly that. After finding the ship, humanity realized, oh shit, there's aliens, and formed the Earth Defense Force. If the EDF exists, the world will never be ruled by monsters, and the aliens will never evolve. That single drunk driving incident
That drunk driving incident led to all of this. Oh my god. Somebody give that guy a DUI because he caused all of this.
just time paradoxed the aliens, but they have one last option to stop themselves from getting blipped. They evolve from a world where humanity is extinct, so they just need to make us extinct. Now, you may be thinking, why not just go back and turn Grug and Grunga into paste? Because that would cause another time paradox. If they solve a problem too early, then they never needed to solve the problem, and will never solve the problem. That's why they invade at the start of EDF 5. It's just after the formation of the EDF, so there's still a reason to go back and invade. All of this means we have a chance. We just have to do well in one loop, and we can time paradox the aliens out of existence for good. This time, we do so well against the aliens that instead of emerging from a bunker into a war zone, you're greeted by an army of advanced soldiers
Oh.
living in a high-tech utopian Wakanda. Then you blow it all up, but despite your efforts, the aliens are still one step ahead. Every loop, they send their evolved ships back into the ring. Turns out these ships carry a log of everything we did during the war, and they go back in time and use that to retroactively win the war. They've been doing this the entire time, but out of everything in this fucking game, they are being subtle about it. At the start of the game, a ring ship appears. Then, in the next mission, everything's destroyed. They didn't just move quickly, they went back and changed the timeline. We can only go back in time by shooting at the ring at a specific time, but if the aliens time travel before then, they can retroactively change the current timeline, from one where we have 10 billion civilians to one where we have 500 civilians. Because of EDF's time travel rules, every mission takes place in its own temporal pocket dimension. Any attempts to change the timeline, past or future, will get queued, and all the queued actions resolve when the mission ends. If we're in mission 50 and you send me back in time to introduce your father to competitive League of Legends, you can watch me leave and you'll be perfectly fine. Then, on mission 51, you no longer exist because you never existed. Who are you? So, when a mission ends, the evolved ship's going back in time gets resolved, and in the next mission, you're fucked. The scientist couldn't care less, though. He's got bigger issues at the moment.
Like what?
There goes my ulcer again.
In order to win, we have to do
like,
so
what do you
well
mean?
in one loop that we can assault the time machine before the evolved ships can go back in time. We're done playing around. It's time to win this thing. The Earth Defense Force 9 begins now. Now, we've gone all the way back to the very beginning of EDF 5. This is the payoff for everything we've had to put up with. From the very start, the EDF has giant mechs called Bragas lying around. Why don't they use them? Because they're construction cranes. The EDF doesn't even think to use them as weapons until months later. But this time, you snuck your weapons through the metal detector, so you can save one guy that dies during the tutorial. Turns out, this was the single most important person in the fucking universe.
No way!
The linchpin that turns the tide of the entire war. This one guy is the only person who knows the code for the Braga elevator. In EDF 5, the base gets wiped and they have to fish out the Bragas from the rubble, but this time they drop the anchors and you hold the line, punching them to death and saving the base from annihilation. Every mission in this timeline corrects all of your mistakes. These guys got squished by a pylon, but now we can block their convoy so they don't. When the dropships appear in EDF 5, you're not allowed to kill them because nobody has ever tried shooting the glowing weak point. But now, as a civilian, you start blasting them out of the sky and get immediately conscripted.
I found a safe place! Behind them!
Hide behind the civilians.
When Godzilla shows up, you waste no time. And
no! Hide behind the civilians is crazy. Oh, hide behind the civilians is awesome, I'll tell you that. Meat shield at 101.
Immediately bring out the Braga to kick his ass. In fact, this timeline goes so well that the EDF has developed their ultimate weapon. Braga with a gun.
Oh, yeah!
Loss ratio at 50%.
The aliens are throwing everything they have at us. It's time for us to use our own trump
It's
card.
so crazy, it might
Another
just
Braga.
work. Absolutely, chat. Absolutely, chat.
This is basically the perfect timeline for us, but the aliens still managed to send the evolved ships back. If we want to win, we need our own ace in the hole. Luckily, the scientist has one. The EDF's ultimate secret weapon. Coincidence. That's right. Random chance. The aliens have a finite number of evolved ships across every time loop. If 10 go back and we destroy one, then they can only send 9 back in the next loop. So, all we have to do is time loop infinitely and eventually kill every single evolved ship, stopping them from going back in time and wiping our progress, and actually allowing us to gain the upper hand. To communicate this, EDF did the last thing I expected. It got meta. To go back in time and kill the evolved ships, you have to physically go back for your mission select screen. These include the only mission that takes place at night. They can reuse their entire game 3 times, but darkness? Whoa. That's way too disruptive. We can only do that once. After that, you're finally ready to assault the ring. You gather the EDF's finest and attack. Then, they all die and tell you to run away. Great work, guys. You shoot the ring and it goes horizontal, opening its portal to rain enemies. It's revealed that you're not just fighting one group of aliens from one point in the future. You're fighting all aliens from every point in the future. They're throwing everything they have at you, but nothing is more effective in the ring because it stuns a player in real life. Then, the final boss.
That thing is officially our enemy. All units, initiate attack.
Of course, everything in EDF is big, but this thing is legitimately too big. It flies outside the skybox, attacks by turning an entire city block blue, and outruns all of your attacks. When you blow its head off, the front opens up and is revealed to be Mega God.
It is God.
What the fuck is happening?
It
The
is
time travel
God.
rules
It's just
have either
God,
been making
okay.
sense, or the oxygen deprivation has finally gotten to me. Allow me to explain what's actually going on. We are currently in a time duel to determine who gets time paradoxed out of existence. Humanity or the aliens. The aliens caused the time paradox with that little ship crash, and we caused the time paradox by launching a dirty bomb at Mars to prevent the Cruel from evolving. Now time itself has chosen us as humanity's champion, and Gigagod as the aliens champion. Whoever loses this fight gets their entire species time paradoxed out of existence. I'll reiterate, time is a sapient entity which manually resolves paradoxes by handpicking contestants for a deathmatch. This is no longer humanity versus aliens.
This, for some reason, makes sense. I understand.
This is 4 retards versus God's final form.
Hey, we did it! The enemy ship is crashing.
We did it! It's
We killed
Remember,
God, chat.
aliens, you're no match for the indomitable human spirit. I've met men who could goon for 36 hours straight. I've met
Okay.
stronger men who could flicker goon for 7 seconds.
Stop.
Humanity always has and always will overcome adversity because we have something you don't. Stupidity. And you get nothing. No ending. Goodbye. Thank you for the $60. Earth Defense Force 6 is a lobotomizing experience where every single design choice is intentionally wrong. It's a sacrificial altar where you trade neurons for dopamine, coded by Emperor Hirohito himself. The weapon descriptions are lies. The dialogue is primordial brain rot.
We can't! The enemies are right in front of us!
I am the Manchurian Candidate. My MK Ultra activation phrase could be any line of dialogue from this game.
God, I hope it's not mating season.
But I'm not complaining. Coming from a race of people with a history of being fried in DiGiorno easy bake ovens, parting with $60 was a difficult decision, but it was
I
worth
see.
it. This is a series made by the same 5 guys for the past 20 years, and I'm cheering them on. Nonsense is an antidote in a world where nothing makes sense, and there's value in something that transcends reason. This is a product of unintelligent design. And I love it.
Unintelligent.
As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
That was fun. I always enjoy watching this guy. You never know what to expect, you know? Half the time, you don't know what to expect with this man. And let me just say, that was absolutely delightful. I gotta say, absolutely delightful. It was funny. It was great. We killed God, chat. Again. That's the best part. We killed God again, chat. Happened twice. And, I don't know if this is the ending or there's more games like this, but considering it might happen again, but that kind of gave you an ending of any kind. I'm not gonna lie. Anyways, though. Hope you guys enjoyed YouTube. Hope you guys don't forget to like and subscribe. I do record these all live on Twitch though, so if you wanna, be here live, part of madness, follow me on Twitch. But besides that, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys later. Bye bye, my lost souls.